Happy Wednesday. It's time for Tap Talk. We back after last week. We missed you. I hope you missed me. We were doing a little meeting and all of a sudden, voila, it was like past 8 o'clock. I was like, crap, we missed it. So I'm back tonight and doing some fun stuff. We've got a few interesting beers to chat about and some upcoming events and things like that to go over as well. So settle into your comfy spot and grab something tasty to drink. Let's do a little cheers. I'm going to start off with some funky business. Look at this thing. It looks like Tang. Cheers and find out what it is. It's just like pure candy. So let's see. What do we got here? It is now... I haven't talked to you since before Memorial Day. So we had ourselves quite a weekend for Memorial here. I think it's an understatement. The weather shaped up to be perfect for our business, which means kind of rainy and gray when people would otherwise like to be out on the lake. And so we were pretty busy Memorial Day weekend. If you happen to swing by, you might have noticed that there were a few people in here. So that was wonderful. We had a great time, kick-started the summer really well, and then now these last week and a half, 2 weeks have been kind of settled into more of like the summer. You know, things are blooming, temperatures are nice and mild, although it's been chilly overnight. It's been good season for bonfires and drinking beer by those bonfires. So I might have to even modify my current selections to include bonfire beer pick. So if you've got something that you're enjoying, or that, how about bonfire beers? I'm just coming up. Sometimes I come up with this stuff just off the top of my head. Sometimes I have it written down. Tonight we're going off the top of the dome, off the curls, instead of off the cuff. So if you've got a favorite bonfire beer, put it in the comments. I'll give you a little toast or cheers. What's a beer you like drinking next to a nice crackling bonfire? While you're thinking about that, I'll start you off with the first thing that I've got to taste tonight. It's actually not a beer. Typically do beers. In fact, we have 2 non-beers in the lineup tonight, if you can believe it. Please don't hate me. So the first one here is this electric orange juice. And it is, okay, what we got? First one, Moon Man. All right, Mike, I'll give you that. It makes sense. Moon Man, by the moon, light of the moon. I like it. All right, Muddy Waters, Bell's Two Hearted, and Moon Man. All right, we like our hoppy beers by the fire. I tend to be a darker beer man when I'm out by the fire. Something that goes along with the roasty, toasty smokiness of it all. But those are darn fine beers and well suited to having several of them. This crazy looking stuff is a mango kumquat smoothie sour from Untitled Arts, which gets their products produced down near Madison, Wanakee. And this one is a line that they've been doing for a little while, these smoothie seltzers, where they are, it's a seltzer, so it's not a beer technically, but unlike most of the seltzers on the market, which are just kind of light and sparkly with a little bit of flavoring, which are great in their own right, I'm not knocking them. These are very like rich, flavorful, fruity beers, and that are really interesting flavor combinations. We've had all sorts of banana and strawberry and dragon fruit and all sorts of things. And this one is just mango and kumquats, which if you're not familiar with, kumquats are like small oranges, really, really tangy and tart and full flavored. You can eat the whole thing, peel and everything. And then mango, as we might know, is a good accent flavor on its own. Can be a little bit, I don't know, isn't everyone's cup of tea when they're drinking. But this stuff is like electric lemonade, or it's like a mimosa in sort of a pre-mixed mimosa glass. You get a bit of the kind of juicy, kind of tropical fruit notes going on, orangey, really rich fruit notes, not like over the top. You could have this for breakfast. In fact, I think people have gotten growlers to have that exact thing, and people have had it for breakfast while they're here. So it's just super fruity, light, and refreshing. I expect it to go pretty quickly on tap, but it's been a lot of fun. It's an interesting thing that's not beer, and it's a fun drink. And everyone who I've had, people are kind of like, I don't know, skeptical. So far, I think it's pretty much 100% rating on that. Like everyone likes it. So, okay, that one's very tasty. Untitled Arts, the mango kumquat smoothie seltzer. Bouncing back into the beer world. Oh, I'm gonna go on tangents tonight. That's just what's gonna happen. If you're interested in beer and food, we have just posted our our Tapas on Tap beer and food experience. The tickets went live at 7 p.m. tonight on our website. There are still tickets available as of the moment. Looking at the clock, it's 8:08 p.m. Central Standard Time. So whenever you're watching this, when I'm speaking, it's 8 o'clock on Wednesday night. So if you see this in the future and are pissed because tickets are gone, listen to the whole video. There are some available now. I can't promise how long they'll be available. So far, we've gotten a great response. If you haven't heard of this thing, this Tapas on Tap, and you don't know what I'm talking about, we've collaborated, myself and the team here, with Chef Chris Ray of 5-Course Catering. And last month, we did our first beer and food pairing event, which was a great success, went over really well. The food was excellent, and the pairings worked out really well. I was really happy with how that all came together. And we're doing it again next week on Wednesday, June 15th. We'll be doing another 5-course tapas style, so small plates, so not a major, huge filling dinner, but paired with 5 different beers that we'll be showcasing here at the Punk. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and hop on over to thewhistlepunk.com, find tickets for that. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be very tasty. It's a lively environment. It'll just be a great evening, and it'll be delicious. The menu is posted already, and I'll be pairing the beers in this coming week. It's kind of like trying to figure these things out as we go along, because the tap list is ever evolving. So try to keep it interesting and focused on serving good beer to the crowd at large, but then also working well with the beer dinner. So, moving on from that, I want to highlight an event we did last week. This is a new beer from Three Floyds. We had a tasting with Three Floyds and War Pigs, since they are kind of a combo brewery connection. I'll go into more of that in a moment. But this is a new beer from them called Rites of Ram. It's a low-strength IPA. Some may dare to call it a pale ale, as we've known it in the past. But they're marketing it as an IPA at about 5% alcohol. It's big and hoppy. I mean, it's got a big hop aroma. But as you can see, it's quite light in body, very pale golden, and the malt is just kind of there in the background. It's mostly about the hops for this one. Very refreshing though, and very drinkable. This is just definitely a major crowd pleaser. For people who like hoppy beers, it's nice and easy to drink. It's not over the top with alcohol content. And for people who are like, I might like hoppy beers, it's a pretty good one to try because it's not too bitter. You get a lot of that citrus, even a little bit of, like, you could argue, if you get into it, there's some peach, maybe a little bit of passion fruit in there, depending on how you're feeling. But yes, a great beer from Three Floyds, who just kind of knock it out of the park time after time. So we had Mark Harrison, their sales rep, come up last week and did a tap feature. So we still have those beers on, because we went big and got all half barrels of them. We've got the classic Gumball Head, which is hoppy American wheat. This one, the new Rites of Ram, low-strength IPA. The War Pigs side, so War Pigs is made up of half Three Floyds and half Mikkeller from Denmark. And it's a collaborative brewery, not just a one-off collaborative beer, but a brewery that's made up of 2 other breweries. And they just produce some wonderful beers. This is their mainstay is the Foggy Geezer. That's one most people know, a hazy IPA. Although it's still a little more punchy than your classic hazy. It's still got some bitterness to it. And then they just released a new beer called Forbidden Magic, which is a strawberry Hefeweizen that has been going over really well, particularly as the weather warms up. So this was one from the tasting that hung around here, and we've been enjoying it. Still got some swag. Look at that. Still got some Three Floyd stickers. And a few things kicking around here, so stop on in and grab some of that when you're in next. Rites of Ram, it's a pale ale, but they call it an IPA. Go ahead, Three Floyds. All right, we're gonna bounce. I'm gonna show you. We're gonna do a quick tour here. How fun is this? Okay, tour first. Grabbing the phone, we're moving it. I got a new phone, so hopefully the video is a little bit better. Check out this little video over here. Wah, it's a beer cooler. You'll notice it's not totally full. We just got it yesterday, and we're gonna have our beers that normally lived on that yonder shelf over in here, and as well as some fun additional new things. What that means, more good beer for you to enjoy, and I get to stick more things like down in those open areas there and even shuffle some things around. So one of the things we're gonna be doing tonight is this one. It's a new one from Maiden Rock, our favorite cider company that we've always been carrying. They've got a new one. It's called Red Hawk, and it's a cool cider that is red. I don't think it's made by hawks, but we all know the red hawks live around here. So check it out. It is made with hibiscus and natural spices, which I interpret as being cinnamon and maybe some other fun ingredients that Carol and Hurdy have snuck into the drinks. Carol and Hurdy are the owners of Maiden Rock. But it pours a beautiful red color, and we tried some earlier today, and it's damn good. Yeah, this is like Anna, our employee, our Wonder rock star, artist, enthusiast, ray of sunshine, put it very well that it bridges the gap between summer and fall, which we're a little early for that, but maybe, I don't know, cinnamon just always has a fall thing, but you can enjoy it anytime, and even by the bonfire. So there's a little bit of cinnamon in there, but it's just mild, and then it's really pretty red color with the hibiscus, and then it leans, if I had to pick on the spectrum of this is really dry, this is really sweet, I'd say it's right here. It's got a little bit of sweetness, keeps it interesting, but it's not super sweet. And just like a lot of the Maiden Rock ciders, because they're using all their own apples, it has this hint of this cool earthiness to it. So yummy cider. We'll have this as long as we can get it. The Maiden Rock supply can kind of come and go because they're a real small batch producer. We always have the Honey Crisp here. We've had that since day one, since we opened. They just make wonderful cider. Ashley wants me to bring some home. All right, well, you know, we'll see what's left. Yes, I'm bringing one home for you. I'll bring a whole case if you want. So you'll have to come in here and fight Ashley for these ciders. This one, really nice. We're running down on the Scrumpy supply, and that looks like that may be going away, at least from our side of things, which is a little sad because that one's a nice dry cider. I'll find some other replacement for you, don't worry. But this one, new cider from Maiden Rock, Red Hawk, yummy. And you can find it in our fridge next to our fridge. We got a fridge and buy a fridge. Why not have more fridges? All right, and we're gonna wrap it up with, you know, people ask, what's your favorite thing? What's your favorite beer? What's your favorite thing on tap? And if I'm doing my job really well, hopefully it's a really hard decision to pick what my favorite beer is on tap at the moment. And that is generally the case right now. We've got a lot of fun stuff up there, and I try to always do that. I want to make it a hard decision. I hope you come in, if you really like beer, I hope you're gonna go like, I don't know what to have, which is why we do the small glasses, so you can try all of them. Pro tip. This one is in that upper echelon of like all-time favorite beers. This is Rodenbach Grand Cru. Bom, bom, bom. If you're a beer lover, if you're a Belgian beer fan, you probably are familiar with this beer. If you are those things and you're not familiar with it, get some. It is just delicious. It is from the Rodenbach Brewery in Roeselare, Belgium, and it is a blended Flanders Red sour ale. So that means it is a red ale. It could be red, burgundy, a little bit of brown notes in there, depending on how you want to call it. It's generally pretty red, burgundy of Belgium. And it is just simply a wonderful sour red ale. If you'd like to try and get to know what Belgian sour beers are all about, this is a really good spot to start. Makes me so happy. It has got a nice tart, sort of green apple level tanginess, but there's enough malt kind of sweetness in there, kind of a candied malt sweetness, that keeps it from being super, super sour. Depends, you know, sourness is a very difficult thing to gauge amongst people, because some people, even a little bit of sourness is totally off-putting, and some people have really high tolerances for this. I think this has a really nice balanced, it's just a supremely well-balanced beer. Jen, I'm going to hold you to that. You got to come see us for beer tomorrow. We'll have a glass of this here for you. The Rodenbach Grand Cru differs from some of the other regular Rodenbach beers in the way that it's blended, of how much beer they use in it. Shut up, Mike. Look in the comment section. He's trying to drive a wedge between me and my wife, and I don't like it. The barrel aging process of Belgian beers is similar to the nature in which wines are aged and blended. The beer is brewed and then it's stored in large oak vats called foeders, and over the time that it sits in there, basically it will become more inoculated by the organisms that live in that barrel, and it will develop more acidity. It will become a richer, deeper flavor, and as it matures over the years, there will be less and less sugar left in the beer as it continues to ferment in there, and become more sour, more earthy, layered. And so the process of making the beer like this is they take 2/3 beer that has been aged for at least 2 years and blend it back with 1/3 beer that's younger, fresher, has more sugar, more sweetness, has a little bit lighter taste. And you get this, Grand Cru is just a designation, meaning essentially it comes from the wine world of a best batch, or kind of your best offering. And so this one is the Rodenbach. It's their Grand Cru. It's their kind of their best offering. And it's just a really cool and interesting beer. And if you've never had a sour, if you're interested in trying that, this is a great one to start, because it does have that balanced sweetness in there. So it just makes it for a really interesting thing. And I'm just pleased as punch to have it on tap. It's just a super cool beer. If you're familiar with New Belgium and the beer that they make called La Folie, which is a sour brown ale, that beer has its roots in this beer, because Peter Buchart, who basically started the beer program, the sour program at New Belgium, was the head brewmaster at Rodenbach, and he brought that beer to the U.S., which you could argue is largely responsible or impactful on the nature of sour beer programs in the United States. So yes, that beer has its own following too, La Folie. I miss you. Somebody get us some La Folie. I know where we can find some, so I'll try and track it down. So this beer is excellent. My vote for campfire beer right now would be Rodenbach Grand Cru. It'd be a bit gluttonous, but that's what life's all about, is being slightly gluttonous, but not too gluttonous, just a little bit. That's the one thing I love about beer. It's I've heard it described in a way as an affordable luxury, because even the best beer in the world, which you could argue that Rodenbach Grand Cru is right there, I don't know, for $10 for a glass or for a bottle, it's not cheap. It's certainly not, it's not your cheap down the street Bud Light or something like that, but most people can swing that, and to have an experience with one of the best beers in the world is much more approachable than some of these kind of more outlandishly priced whiskeys or wines that cost hundreds or thousands of dollars a bottle. Even the best beer in the world, I would argue, is not all that outrageously priced. And some of the ones that are outrageously priced that you might see on the market might not be the best beers in the world. So take time while the summer is still early and it hasn't gone flying by, to go kick back, enjoy one of these cool evenings, throw on a hooded sweatshirt, go burn a few logs outside. Don't be irresponsible. I don't want to be responsible for people burning things down, but go have a nice tasty beer outside and enjoy. And what do we have coming up here? It's creeping into June. We got a beer dinner next week. The week after, we're going to do Trivial Pursuit style trivia on the 22nd. And then, I'm going to pump this several times, but we're doing Blood Hook. We aren't. I'm helping collaborate on it in the Park Center in Hayward on Muskie Fest Saturday, 8 o'clock at the Park Theater downtown. We're going to be screening the 1986 horror movie Blood Hook, and it's just so wonderfully campy and B-horror and Hayward. The dynamic between the tourists and the people from out of town, so good. You gotta come see it. I'm going to pump it again. We're also doing a podcast tomorrow night with my buddies Dalton and James and we're going to be getting together and we're going to be talking about that a little bit. So keep your eyes peeled for a Northern Nerd podcast. I bid you a fair Wednesday evening. I hope you've had a great time with me, and we will hopefully see you in for a beer sometime in the near future. All right. Happy Tap Talk. Happy Wednesday. Cheers.